Well, hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is your friend Ursi, and today I am so excited. We're joined today by two astrologers, Linda Kubota Byrd and Elizabeth HeartStar. And so the energy is palpable. I wanted to make sure that they could self-introduce later, but before we get going, there's a gift from Linda. She's going to open an etheric stargate. So this is a way that we ground in, and if you're listening, feel free to put your hands on your heart chakra and close your eyes and join us. Okay, here we go.
All right. So it's important for everybody, if you want to be involved, to repeat after me. So I'm going to first, but silently. So I'm going to first tell you what we're going to do, like we're going to be calling the energy from Mother Earth. And so then I'm going to say, so asking inside, we call for the energy from Mother Earth, and etc. as we go through. So let's just get grounded. Just take a deep breath. And like I said, we're going to call in the energy from Mother Earth. So asking inside, we call for the energy from Mother Earth. And just imagine as the energy comes up from the very core of her being all the way up through the various layers and quickly enters into our bodies through our feet, filling our entire bodies up with this beautiful, loving, protective, nurturing energy from Mother Earth. And next we're to call for the energy from Father Sky. So asking inside, we call for the energy from Father Sky. And just imagine as the energy starts to pour down from the heavens, entering through our crown chakras and filling up our entire bodies with this beautiful energy from Father Sky. So that our bodies now contain energy from both Mother Earth and Father Sky, establishing us as the bridge between heaven and earth. And next we're to call for the presence of an etheric stargate or an imaginary stargate. So asking inside, we call for the presence of an etheric stargate. And just imagine that you're sitting in the middle of a pyramid and the intention of the stargate will form around you. So just imagine the stargate, even if you don't know what it looks like. Just imagine that a stargate is forming around you. Beautiful. And next we'll call for an activation of the stargate. So asking inside, we call for an activation of the stargate. And just feel the energy or imagine the energy just getting stronger and stronger within the stargate because it serves as a portal to other dimensions. So just feel the energy growing within the stargate as it starts to move faster and faster as we move from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, as the energy starts to move faster into the fifth dimension, as we go faster and faster to the sixth, as it goes stronger into the seventh. And at the seventh dimension, we'll pause. And here, we're going to call for a strong seventh dimensional energy field. So asking inside, we call for a strong seventh dimensional energy field. We pause here just so that energies can catch up and so that they all start to merge together. This beautiful energy of the seventh dimension. And now, as the energy gets stronger and moving faster, we move to the eighth dimension. Now the ninth, as the energy is moving faster and faster, growing stronger and stronger to the 10th, 11th, and again at the 12th dimension, we'll pause. And here we're to call for a strong 12th dimensional energy field. So asking inside, we call for a strong 12th dimensional energy field. And some of you may feel that the energy actually expands. You just feel, because in the 12th dimension, we're in the quantum field where there is no time or space. And we're also going to call for a connection to the entire Stargate morphic field because there's stargates all over the world. So asking inside, we call for a connection to the entire Stargate morphic field. And some of you may feel that a sense of expansion when we call for connection. And next, we're to call for support from the angelic realm. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the angels. And just imagine the angels just flooding into your room, just forming all around you. And you may even be able to feel the love that the angels bring. Just feel all the angels. And next we'll call for this presence of the archangels. And particularly, I like to particularly call in Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron. So asking inside, we call for the presence of Archangel Michael for protection, Michael, and Metatron, the Archangel of Sacred Geometry. And next we'll call for the Council of the Elohim, the angels on high, who are very much a part of the Stargate. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the Council of the Elohim. Beautiful. And next we're to call for the presence of the Ascended Masters. And one Ascended Master who works very strongly with the Stargate is Mother Mary. Not the religious Mother Mary, but the pure essence of Mother Mary. So asking inside, we call for the presence of Mother Mary. And some of you may feel this compassionate, unconditional love that comes from Mother Mary. And next we'll call for our counterpart from the East, Kuan Yin. So asking inside, we call for the presence of Kuan Yin. Just feel this beautiful feminine, divine feminine energy from both Mother Mary and Kuan Yin. And to balance their energy with the masculine energy, we're to call for the presence of both Jesus and Buddha. So asking inside, we call for the presence of Jesus and Buddha. And just feel the energy from these both masters of masculine energy expressing their deep love and compassion as well. There are many other ascended masters who are part of this that we can feel in the field. And if you, I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. If you just want to call in the ascended masters that you would like to be involved in this meditation, feel free. Mm. Yeah, there's a lot. And next we're to call for our galactic families, or the galactics, who are very much a part of the Stargate and who are here in our atmosphere all around the Earth, here to support us in this time of awakening. So I'll first call in the Pleiadians. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the Pleiadians, who we've been told are the ones who seeded Earth, so ancestors of ours. And next we'll call for the presence of the Arcturians, also the ones who've been told who the Arcturians seeded the Pleiades. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the Arcturians. Again, many, many other star beings here. We'll call for the presence of this, or acknowledge the presence of the Sirians. So we're lining up with Sirius. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the Sirians. We'll also call or acknowledge the presence of the Lyrans. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the Lyrans. And there's also a group that we don't talk about, or it's not well known. They're not well known, but they're called the Masters of Xenon. And they come when planets, or humanity in this case, is about to evolve, or is in the evolutionary process. And what they do is they help us strengthen our intuition. So it's called the Masters of Xenon. So asking inside, we call for the presence of the masters of Zenon. I'd like to acknowledge many, many, many other beings who are here in our midst. We just have so much support for what's going on our planet as she evolves as well. So, okay. I'm also going to acknowledge the presence of the whales and the dolphins. And there's this other being who always likes to come in. She's very, very eager to support. Her name is Symphonia, and she's a messenger from the Mer people. So when Symphonia comes in, she always brings a lightness of being. So asking inside, we call for the presence of Symphonia, the representative from the Mer people. There are many, many other beings, and we welcome you all, and we thank you for being here. So, yeah, just feel all the support that we have. Beautiful. Okay, let's all take a deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. A lot of support.
Nice. Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Mm.
Wow. So today we're here to talk about what Linda and Elizabeth are up to for July. There was a calling and a stirring. And so there's also an invitation. So I think I'm going to turn this over now to Elizabeth, who we're meeting for the first time today. And coincidentally, we were both individually picking up the Galactic Heritage cards by Lisa Royal Holt. I pulled number 96, the community card of the Association of Worlds Parallel. So this idea that as Linda was calling in the Stargate and all the beings, it did feel like there's so many here now witnessing this momentous time for humanity, for Mother Earth, but also for the galactic. It's like something that hasn't been done before. So, Elizabeth, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about what you and Linda have planned coming up.
Hey, well, I wanted to share that I picked the number 78, which is about seeing the one, and it's the Earth future, about humanity being ready to take the next step into enlightenment after a struggle. So this is, I think that's what this Uranus going into the sign of Gemini. And so Linda and I were speaking, and I was like, when is Uranus going into Gemini? And when I saw it was 7/7, and I just intuitively put 7 a.m. in Sedona, it's actually 0000. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know 777 is in Hebrew gematria and Greek gematria. It's a very powerful, thus called the Elohim, and it has to do with the activation. And then for the 888, it's like connected to the 888, which is in August 8th, which is about the opening of the Lion's Gate. And I was like, wow. And when we looked at the horoscope, and when I saw that Sedna was just a degree and a half, because Sedna has been at the 0 Gemini for a long time, and is just moving into like just 1 degree. And then Venus next to, I was like, wow, this is about, for me, Sedna represents the emergence of the divine feminine from a place of being unseen and unheard, the goddess of the sea, whose fingers were cut off by her father, the patriarchy, representing the patriarchy, and gave birth to all sea life. There was nothing in the ocean. And the day that she was announced I guess I think I put CNN. I think I was listening to NPR on March 15th of 2004 because I did astrology out of what was called the Sedona Heart Center here for many years. And we had a big mother drum, and it was my day. We would take turns as a service to the community, just to a prayer drumming circle for whoever wanted to show up. And it was my day, and I had just heard Sedna, who's this? And I said, oh, I want to dedicate this drum prayer circle to this new planet. It's like this so exciting that we're opening to this new consciousness. And so I received the symbol, which the symbol for her, I mean, and then I went home and read about Sedna. And it's Sedona. I mean, here's what I wrote. It's Sedona without the O. And I really feel that Sedona is a portal. As we know, there are many portals on the planet, but this is one of the major portals. And that I was so excited when Uranus was going to be aligned to Alcyone, the seven sisters, again, seven, the brightest star in the Pleiades, and Sedna and Venus, I mean, all together, and trining Pluto, who's in Aquarius, and then making the sextile to Neptune and Saturn, who are now in Aries for the first time. I mean, well, Neptune, that all the five planets that have gone to the 0 point, Pluto, which went in November last year, and then Neptune, it was actually at the end, March 30th, right? The 0 Aries, and then Saturn just in May in Aries, and making this incredible major or minor grand trine, and that they all change signs, and so Uranus is the last of the outer planets, and they're all making this great opportunity for us to awaken. And I really feel Sedna is the emergence of the divine feminine to be heard and seen. Her hands were cut off, so it's like Gemini is the hands, and Mercury, she's going to speak. And when Uranus was conjunct Eris, was in the Me Too movement, when everybody was, she's the goddess that's going to be heard and seen. And so Sedna, I believe this is the awakening of Sedna, whose cycle is almost 12,000 years. She hasn't been this close to our planet. So that was, I mean, it's so big. So so we got excited, and it was like 7 years ago, we were in Stonehenge bringing Uranus into Taurus. We were guided to do this. It was called Stargate Merlin. And we just both got, wow, let's do it. Let's bring, I've always brought the 12 together, like the zodiac, because it's that, as we know, the 12 around the one, the 13th is us. It's who we are. And just like going to the 12th dimension, it's all within our DNA. We're activating this. It's like the birth of the new human that so many are talking about. We're mutating out the old Homo sapien that has the Arcturians who I work with say there's a defect in the Homo sapien that is being mutated out. And so the Arcturian group that I work with, the group of 40, they call it the Homo Omega, but some people say Homo Luminous or the new human, but it's truly happening. So it's to celebrate this awakening, and we know what's going on the planet. I mean, we could get very depressed if we looked at the 3D, but we're not going to do that, because just think if the masters, they can't come down to our level, they're raising us up when we have to be that, as star seeds, us that remember who we are and why we came here. So we just got very excited about the astrology of and that it's 777, and the seven sisters, the Pleiades, and Alcyone is activated, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that in Sedona at 777, the part of fortune is in exact alignment to the galactic center. So as we look at the chart, we're just like, oh my goodness, look at all these things that happen to be happening. And I think that's the magic of this time, that the Uranus being the final outer planet to click into place. It just energetically to me, it feels like Pluto went into Aquarius, then Neptune into Aries, then Saturn into Aries, then just recently Jupiter into Cancer, and now the Great Awakener, the final click in the combination lock, I think is like this is a big deal. At least energetically,
Yeah.
it feels like, and just from looking at the lineup of all the planets, this just isn't accidental.
Yes, Jupiter going into Cancer, you know, bringing like what you got, the cards we got, bringing the tribes together, you know, oh, seeing
Family.
the one, like we know that we are all one, and I mean we have this wisdom now, you know, um, yeah, and that the sun will be aligned to Sirius on that day.
I love how the two of you met, and it's this idea of working around Uranus, shifting into the next sign. And so when I think of Uranus, it for me is the most galactic, carrying the Aquarian age, sudden, um, future oriented. So, this idea that you and Linda have journeyed together with the Merlin Stargate, and this one being called a numeric of 777 Sedona. Let me share with everybody, if you're listening and you'd like to learn more about this special event, because it's coming up in July. In fact, Elizabeth, tell us the dates again.
Yes, well, arrival in Sedona on July 6th, because we're going to get up very early and be at the major portal, the what the Arcturians, many galactics, at the Bell Rock. To the Arcturians have a ladder of ascension, and there are many galactic energies. It's the root of Sedona, and we will be going to the Holy Well, which I believe it's known as the emergence of first woman by the native tribes. So arrival on the 6th, and then departure on the 11th. So it's 6 days, 5 nights at a wonderful hotel with the most amazing view of Sedona. I love it. Right in West Sedona. So July 6th through the 11th. And yeah, we have a few spots left still. So we'd love to, whoever feels this cosmic wake-up call or this awakening, it's, to celebrate this amazing, great opportunity we have. And Uranus always brings great discoveries. And so from the oceans of Sedna, there's going to be a new energy source that is going to emerge. This was told by my mentor, David Miller, who channels the Arcturians, that yes, so it's an exciting time to celebrate life and to help raise the consciousness of our beautiful Mother Earth. She's so beautiful, and for humanity to come together.
Just
Yeah.
love the imagery here, Elizabeth, of you with your goddess attire, open heart, with this portal of light. For those listening, if you're wanting to know more information, check out Sedona Red Door Retreats with an S, retreats.com. It's really amazing. And Elizabeth and Linda are much more than astrologers. If you're going to pick that up in this conversation today. But here's a lot about Sedona Red Door Retreats. The land is the shaman. So I see you with your drum. I
Yeah.
know that you also have crystal skulls. You're the keeper of how many skulls do you have?
Well, they're two very ancient. HeartStar was found in caves in the Himalayas, uncovered in 2002.
Wow.
I've been told, and I believe, they were actually brought through from the Pleiades, and this was channeled through an amazing woman who channels the Tibetan master Dwal Kul, because they were planted there to help bring the Shambhala energy to the earth. And yeah, I mean, three people that I mean, have said that, and I know that's true. And then the grandmother Tibetan Buddhist crystal skull came to us, kind of connecting with HeartStar, and she's always been known as the grandmother. I have this is actually a picture because Thelma,
Mm.
my dear friend Jules Maloney helped bring this book together called The Crystal Skull Messenger, because for Thelma's 90th birthday, she passed almost 98 in 2021. And so she's holding HeartStar and Yangtze, who she always called the grandmother. And so, I mean, I didn't go looking for them. I kind of thought crystal skulls were a little strange when I saw them all in Sedona, but they're amazing. Crystal is Uranus, Aquarius. All technology comes from the crystal, which is our Earth Mother. And we're crystal beings, we're water light beings. So yeah, they have stories to tell.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they'll be guiding us as well for the retreat. And also, Elizabeth has been leading sacred tours in Sedona for 35 years, so she knows where to take us. And so every morning we'll be starting our day on a field trip at some sacred place, and she's going to take us to all the chakras, because Sedona has all the chakra spots, and so
Yeah.
we'll be going to all the chakras, um, not only activating or encouraging the growth of our chakras of the opening, but also for the planet itself. So
Yes.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
planet itself. Half the year I've lived, it's been my home base for 35 years. And as I had shared, I came here when I was 12 and 13 in the 60s, early 60s, when people hadn't heard of Sedona. So I've watched it change, and but I was guided to Glastonbury, England in 1993. And so I was actually living there half the year, bringing people to the sacred sites there, and staying in Glastonbury, working as an astrologer out of my friends' shops, for 6 months, because you could get a visa for just a passport. You just go in for 6 months. So, it was, and it's balancing this. It's like the green, lush Glastonbury goddess energy, and then the red Earth Mother, which is a very different energy. So, even someone in Glastonbury had lent me this book that a professor from the Midwest of anthropology wrote about the connection with Glastonbury and Sedona. It was amazing.
Wow. It
Yeah.
is interesting when you start talking about nodal points, around the earth. So Glastonbury is often thought of as the heart chakra. What would you say Sedona is if you were
I feel it's the root. I know on some, because Shasta, it's some people say Shasta, but Shasta is so high energy. I don't know.
interesting?
Anyways, it's whatever you feel. I feel our earth is our heart, is the
Yeah.
heart,
Yeah.
and whatever people feel like what's beautiful about Sedona is it's all nature created these amazing formations. And so I like to, I share what I see, but I was like, oh, what's that? Someone said, and I said, I don't know, name it. She said, oh, I think it's volcano or something. It looked like, right? I mean, there's faces in the red rocks. It's just quite amazing. The earth is so beautiful. Every place on the earth is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
This has such powerful sacredness that it reaches back into the indigenous peoples. And I know, like on Gaia TV, when Regina Meredith was living in Sedona, there was a time where the earth was red and then the sky was red. And she asked one of her guests, because I love her open minds
Yes, I do too.
conversations, why was the sky red? And they said, because it was reflecting on the bottom of a craft. So it was just
Wow.
this, the invisible made visible in a certain way. And so that red rock, if you're hearing this, there's nothing like Sedona or Shasta or Glastonbury. So if you feel called, check out Elizabeth's website that we just posted. Linda, do you want to share with us the beautiful image of the astrology for the 777?
Well, I think we've covered some of it, but the other thing before I forget, in connection to the indigenous peoples, because this whole thing has been kind of coming together magically. It just so happens that on the 10th of July, it's a full moon, and it's a big deal, full moon. And we are going to be in ceremony, in a fire ceremony, which is being led by a native elder who's connected to the 13 grandmothers. So it's a combination of galactic and Native American heritage, or the shamanic energy that's also there. So
Yes.
it just feels like a rare opportunity to be able to come to this amalgamation of not only the energies of Glastonbury, since Elizabeth and I were in Stonehenge when Uranus moved into Taurus, and then to be together in Sedona when Uranus makes the move into Gemini. Um, it it doesn't feel accidental, and just the magical things that have been coming up. I don't know if Elizabeth, you want to share about the spray you just got that
Oh,
connects
right.
these different places.
Yes. Because Cryon was just here a couple of weeks ago, and Stargate was here, the Pergite and Julianne. And, they had a event a few days here, and two women who I had not met from England, but one of them, Clea, did a crystal skull oracle deck she created a few years ago, and she contacted me to ask if she could put a HeartStar, a card in. So we had communicated, but we hadn't met. And then her friend Pippa um, creates these. I mean, I just held this bottle that she gave to me that she hasn't. She does it. I don't know. She's very gifted. I just felt it's called, I think, Temple of Light. And she said, "Here, this is for you. I haven't brought it out yet. I haven't birthed it yet. I'm going to be birthing it in Glastonbury. I think it's Glastonbury." In July 6th, which is the Dalai Lama's birthday. And I was like, that's when we're going to start. And I was like, so we have this temple of light, but I mean, the essence, I don't know, she's very gifted. That I have never felt just the bottle. And then she sprayed me. She said, I haven't actually opened it yet for anyone, but I'm going to do this for you because I mean, what an incredible connection. So it was fantastic to have
And
both
didn't you
of
say
them
it was
there.
Shasta, Sedona, Tibet, and was it Glastonbury? I don't
Oh,
remember.
yes. The essence. She actually yes, it has to do with the Shasta, a very special place in Tibet, a place in Greece,
Hmm.
and it wasn't Sedona. Now I have to think. where was the fourth one? There were four like directions that she put into these essences and had waters from these places. Greece, Shasta, Tibet. I have to find out. Now I can't remember.
The whole thing was that 777, it seems that this is an auspicious time for awakening and for
Yeah.
spiritual growth. And for Elizabeth to happen to get this for the group, in a sense, if she's willing to spray us with it when we get there, and for that for her to feel the third eye opening, it's like, okay, I just feel like we're getting so much spiritual
Yes.
support. It feels like it's spiritually driven or we're guided.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then another very exciting connection was it was a friend of mine's birthday, and she had it at a restaurant here, and the only empty seat was next to me. A woman that I knew that was an astrologer here named Deborah sat down, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to be going to Glastonbury, and I'm going to be in Scotland at the Callanash Stone Circle, the one place I've wanted to go to, because it was actually created for the lunar standstill, which only happens once every 18 and a half years. And I've been trying to find out when that happens. Well, it's right around the same time that this lunar standstill. So two astrologers, Daniel Gamario, he's bringing a group. I said, "Oh, are you going with Daniel?" She said, "No, I'm going with this. It's Astro Magic or something." But they're going to be there around the same time that this lunar standstill. And she said, "I'm going to share more about this." But it's the only place I haven't gotten to that I wanted to, and I wanted to go for the standstill, but I'm supposed to be here. But what are the chances that I found out about it?
Yeah,
So it's going to
powerful
be happening
synchronicity.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
We're going to be in Sedona doing our retreat, and then this is also going on in Scotland with the same intention. I imagine there are other things going on in other places as
Yes.
well. It's just Sedona's where we were called.
So just for everyone, wherever you are, this is an important time for our planet. This is an awakening. So, if you can't be with us, or, just open to this energy, do whatever it is that you do, open your heart to this great awakening and the emergence of the divine feminine, to assist Earth and humanity and the star beings. And like you said, it's like we have so much support that
Yeah.
that we're here to lift up humanity, because we see a lot of division going on. So we're going to change that. It's going to be an Aquarian golden age, and we're the first wave, the wake up, the wake up call. So for wherever you are on 777, be aware that this is activating our light codes, our galactic crystalline consciousness. We're multidimensional beings.
Mhm. I love that. I think even if you took a pause on July 7th, 2025, you can imagine yourself with Linda and Elizabeth in the astral realms. And with this, we're in this photonic light belt right now, and we're seeing manifestation and synchronicities and the numerology or other things show up. And it's just telling us we are so powerful, but to drop into the heart, not stay in the mind. So I'm going to give let me share Elizabeth's site one more time. If you feel inclined to go for this call, as if it's a calling to get to Sedona for the cosmic wake up call. Now, I do want to show briefly for 777 that this on astro.com, I just put in July 7th, 7 a.m. And here we see at the top Sedna with Uranus moving into, 0 degrees, as was said, Gemini. And here's Venus. So these three are collecting their combined energies, straddling the 10th and 11th houses, opposite our moon and squaring Mars. So it's fabulous to see the geometry. And I'm just going to now move here, which is for those of you who are following and studying with Julia Balaz in the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioners course, you can pull a star chart. So for this day on 7/7/2025, you can see the star, as Linda had mentioned earlier, the brightest star in our heavens that we can see from Earth is Sirius A in Canis Major, the big dog. Look, it's conjunct the Cancerian sun in the 12th house. This is in Sedona by 1 degree, 17 minutes. But what's fascinating is when you look next, the next soul connection is to our galactic heritage point when we became from energy into physical manifestation in Lyra. So I'm going to give a shout out again to Lisa Royal Holt and her fabulous foundational book called The Prism of Lyra. Here we see beautiful Vega at 0 degrees, 1 minute, opposite our sun. So it feels to me when I saw the star chart that our whole journeying through this galaxy with Sirius A, with Vega, and then as Elizabeth mentioned, as we scroll down here, we have the Pleiadian star sisters, the 7, lining up with that Uranus and Gemini, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, right? Working in conjunction with our star mothers, the Pleiades. Sirians are our star forefathers. So the Pleiadians and the Sirians working together to basically support humanity in our evolution. They're back, they're here. But Elizabeth, I thought you would like this one, the Centaur, the Centaurus Alpha Centauri, 0 degrees, 12 minutes. So there's your 12, opposite Uranus. So the Centaur, Alpha Centauri, is not that unruly centaur, but it's the one who brings a gift to the altar. In this case, he's spearing the wolf. But this idea of the priest or priestess energy is going to be available through Uranus in Gemini, working with the Pleiadians. And then lastly, as Linda mentioned, the part of fortune down here is conjunct the galactic center, 0 degrees, 30 minutes. It's so tight. But just looking at the star chart, it's telling a story that everyone seems like they're coming in for this very auspicious moment. And they're having me look one more time at Uranus in the 10th house. Here we see the constellation Pegasus sextiling Shiat. Now, I know some say that we're in the age of Aquarius, but we're actually, if you go by what Pam Gregory shares about whoever holds the 0 degrees Aries point, this is where the Pegasus star Shiat is actually the one holding it closest to the 0 degrees Aries point. And on 7/7/2025, Shiat is going to be sextiling Uranus and Gemini by 0 degrees, 17 minutes. It's pretty astonishing. And there's royal stars that are showing up for this special day. We have the Eye of the Dragon, Etamine, working with Draco. I mean, there's one other star family because Linda called so many in. But up here we have, the Andromedans. I don't think we've mentioned them.
No.
But we have the Andromedans sextiling the sun. But there was another specific marker with the Andromedans. Let me see if, I think it was to the North Node. Let's see. The North Node is actually working with Capulus. This is working in Perseus constellation. It's the masculine energy holding the sword. And when Linda called in Archangel Michael, the one that holds the sword, the one who's most like in the image of God, cutting cords. So we can work with that Capulus energy. working as a sextile to the North Node, helping support us all in this very auspicious evolutionary moment. I know that's a lot,
I love that. I
but
love that so
it tells a
much.
That's
story,
so
doesn't
cool.
it? I mean,
Wow.
when I did Stargate with Linda and we were learning how to be facilitators, I was like, well, but I want to know their name. And I want to know where we're from. And I want to know who my star families are. So the Julia Balaz program helps me kind of navigate, okay, well, let's tune into that star story and see if it resonates with me or not. But these stars seem like the whole, if I could share one of, you might not be able to see it, but if you take Lisa Royal Holt's card workshop, it
Oh,
tells you the whole journeying, how we went from Lyra and then Vega, and then working with Orion, the Pleiades, and the Zetas and Earth. So everyone's kind of coming in through this sense of we interspecies assistance. We've helped others, and others are helping us. So it's nothing to be afraid of other than like working with like the crystal skull to just go, we are that and then more in this multifaceted, um, multidimensional, but also like holographic consciousness that seems to be moving us into how do we see ourselves beyond duality, beyond polarity, and beyond linearity. So it's this big push, it feels like. So
Yeah.
if you're called to the red rock of Sedona and you want to play with Linda and Elizabeth, go ahead onto Elizabeth's site and see if it's right for you. But TikTok, it's coming in July.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
coming soon.
I know.
Yeah.
What? 2.5 weeks.
I was just going to say the other thing as you were speaking, Ursula, about the humanity awakening. Um, Several of us that are going to be in Sedona for our event are going to be coming directly, pretty much from a Zazar retreat. And Zazar is a galactic being who has recently been coming through a Dr. Marilyn Gewicki. And Zazar's message is to help us remember that we are magnificent, is the word he uses. To remember we're not just this little human 3D body. We are something so much greater. Our souls. So remember we are souls here. And so it's the the uncanny or the synchronicity of all of these things happening in this order, and for us to be able to gather in Sedona. And the people who will be there are the ones. It feels like a soul reunion to me. It's like this group agreed to be here to help humanity, to assist humanity, and it's like giving it a boost with a conscious intention that gets set with this new energy coming in. So yeah, it's pretty
It's
exciting.
exciting what you guys are cooking up. I think when you were talking, Linda, this thought that wherever there's the greatest light, it's met by its equal and opposite greatest dark. And this story of the great light and great dark meeting one another to find integration happened in Orion. And so fear not. It's like this idea of how do we get to that yin yang and then work through the portal to go and push us out of our day to day. And we live and then we die. And then we hope there's another human incarnation. It's truly this idea of moving us into more of a galactic awareness and consciousness and aligning ourselves with support. So we do have the support. We just need to invite them in when we choose to. Or I should reframe that. We don't need to, but if you choose to invite for activations or for support or for clarity, that we don't have to do it alone. And we kind of all signed up to be here in this moment. And it's a choice point, love or fear. And then beyond, if you choose love, and you say, show me more, tell me more. And sometimes the thing we fear the most is actually our ancestor or ourselves in the future. So it's remarkable to be alive in 2025. And Elizabeth, I'm going to invite you if you have any final things or thoughts that you'd like to share.
Wow. Well, just what you were saying, it's ask and you shall receive, to know you're never alone, and we have so much support, and how loved we all are, you know? I mean, I think it's our greatest, is to love ourselves. I don't know why that's been so hard for us to do, but it's like we're a part of the all, we're a part of the universe, we are truly stardust and of our Earth Mother, So I love the Stargate calling in the Earth Mother and the Sky Father and all the support we have, and just, it's all in our hearts. It's just, it's all within us. All the technology, everything we need we really have it within us. It's amazing, like what you were saying. We're more magnificent, and we're all so unique. And so it's like to just love the rainbow that we all are, we're rainbow bodies, we're light beings, we're everything, you know. So yeah, just to open to a wonderful word, the power word from one of my teachers who wrote this wonderful book. She channels Dwell Cool, Kathleen Kingdon. It's called What Happened to the New Age, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the magic word, or the power word, that came through Master Dwell Cool is alchemagination. So it's the alchemy, it works. When you go, oh, I'm imagining it, right? But the alchemy of your imagination, it actually really creates, so it's a magical word to be aware of, alchemagination.
Love that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's great.
I just realized, Elizabeth, you have a red door behind
I
you.
know.
And then it's like the invitation is, do you want to come to the red door and open it up with Elizabeth and Linda as your guides? It's
And
hilarious.
you know how I got to use the red door is, and three people that have been working closely with Matthias De Stefano
Yeah.
are going to be with us. I love that it's like myself and my dear friend Robert Maldonado work with this specific group of 40, it's spelled FORTY.com, group of Arcturians. Linda with Stargate. I mean, I love them all. We're all a part of everything, but you know what I mean? And so Matthias came to Sedona. I don't know if you know who Audie Lamborn is. It's Green Tara Guru. She has a YouTube, Green Tara you and so I was doing a lot with her. It's just free online. She's quite amazing being. She said, "Oh, I was just invited by Matthias De Stefano to be in Sedona February 2nd of 2024 to open the Red Door of Sedona." And Matthias was going to be at the masculine door, and she was going to be at the feminine. So they didn't advertise it because Matthias attracts thousands of people, and she didn't. She kept it, but it was with the Hopi. This is the natives' land, and so I was like, I love that. I said, I have a red front back door and front door, and I thought I loved that name, Sedona Red Door Retreats, and I was tuning in the whole time they were here, and so that's how the name came. And I was like, whoa, yeah, I've got the red door.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you both for coming on to the Ascension Playground. And Elizabeth, I'd love to have you come back later and tell us more about your crystal skulls and
Yeah.
channel anything that you think would help the collective, because it's
Thank you.
powerful.
I would be honored. Thank you. This has been wonderful to meet. I mean, I feel like when Linda and I met, I just felt like I knew her forever. And that's how I feel like, we're all finding our soul family. We're soul family.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to meet our soul families.
Yeah. I'd like to also add that when Elizabeth and I work together, it's under the philosophy of the Knights of the Round Table, where everybody has something to contribute. And the people who are coming so far all have something major to contribute. So if you feel called in some way. It's certainly not required by any means, but it's not just going to be the two of us talking at you. This is a co-creation.
Yes.
So yeah, and
Yeah.
I think, and that's another thing I really love about that. And I think it's very Pluto and Aquarius. We're moving into the collaborative time of life, building community through collaboration. So
And I think Gemini is about it's always a youthful, when I oversee, it's like, the butterfly energy, Gemini. It's like, let's have fun. Let's share our stories. And I feel sadness coming up from the deeps, from our memory of almost 12,000 years ago, that we're in this big shift time that many are talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
thank you, Ursula.
well,
Yes,
you're
thank you.
welcome. And Sedna, too, just a comment that, from the father cutting off and trying to keep her out of the boat, but her fingers and toes turned into the dolphins and the whales and the sea creatures. So the alchemy of from pain and betrayal of the patriarchy or your father figure as an archetypal energy to then create and find life in this next evolutionary step up. But the two of you help model, I believe, what it's like to sit in sovereignty, to claim this is who I am. I mean, Elizabeth, you at the portal in Sedona, like, come. Linda, you calling in the Stargate. Yes, this is what we do. And so I'm saying that because I think many of us might be a little gun shy to let our full selves come out. And so it seems like this retreat or future retreats would help if you want role models or if you want to be in an environment of the round table of energetic, we're going, the ship is leaving. Would you like to be part of it? It's such an auspicious invitation. So thank you both.
Thank
And
you.
again, we hope to
Yeah.
see you back on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now. See everybody later.
Thanks.